Welcome to the Washington State Nursing Care Quality Assurance Commission's presentation on the nurse licensing process for registered nurses and licensed practical nurses by examination. In this presentation, you will learn how to apply for your license, register for the NCLEX, and maintain your Washington State nursing license. In this presentation, you will find links to all the different websites and databases you need access to in order to successfully apply for your nursing license. The first step will be to download and read the application by examination instructions at the first link provided on this page. After you have read through the application instructions, please create a Secure Access Washington account. If you already have an account created for another type of license, you may log in to your previous account to access the nursing application. Please be sure to submit your application online about 2 weeks prior to when you will be ready to sit for the NCLEX. If you are taking time to complete a formal study course or independent study after graduation, then we encourage you to submit your application when you are ready to test. You will be required to submit an application fee online at the time you apply. The application fee is $135 for registered nurses and $90 for practical nurses. Upon submitting your application and fee through the online portal, you will receive an automated email from the Washington State Department of Health confirming receipt of your application. This email will also notify you of a 14-day window to submit documents through the online portal. This does not mean that your application needs to be completed within 14 days, only that you will need to send any follow-up documentation via email or mail after the 14-day window. To check the status of your application at any time during the licensing process, please use the Department of Health's provider credential search. On this slide, you will find a couple of helpful hints to follow when applying for your license. It is important to keep your contact information current at all times with the Department of Health. If your email, mailing address, name, or phone number changes, please visit our website on how to update this information. When creating your Secure Access Washington account, please make sure to use your main email address and write down your login information somewhere safe. SAW is used for licensure renewal after you are licensed, so you will need to have access to this information later on down the road. You should not use a school email address since this will not be available for long after you graduate. Please use a personal email address if at all possible. One other reminder, as soon as your application is pending with the Department of Health, it will show is pending on our provider credential search. Any change in your licensure status will be reflected on the provider credential search. Here you will find a screenshot of the Department of Health's provider credential search. When searching for your pending license, please reference the pending credential number provided in the application confirmation email from the Department of Health. You may also search by your first and last name. The provider credential search is tied directly to the Department of Health's internal licensing database. When your license becomes active, or if anything changes with your license status in the future, it will immediately be reflected on this outward-facing website. Employers also use the provider credential search as primary source verification of your license. Background checks are completed on every single application received by the Nursing Commission. We complete a Washington State Patrol background check and a National Practitioners Database background check on all applications. FBI fingerprint background checks are required for only applicants who apply with an out-of-state address. You will receive emailed instructions on this process if you list an out-of-state mailing address on your application. After submitting your application through the online application portal, you will also need to register with Pearson VUE to sit for the NCLEX examination. Pearson VUE is contracted by the National Council of State Boards of Nursing, NCSBN, for test development and administration of the NCLEX examination. We suggest registering for the NCLEX at the same time as you are applying online for your license, about 2 to 3 weeks prior to graduation. This is important so that your registration is complete by the time you are graduating and will also ensure a smooth application process, and you will avoid receiving a deficiency email from the Nursing Commission if this step were to be missed. Please follow the link on the bottom of this page to register with Pearson VUE. The examination fee is $200 and must be paid with either a credit or a debit card. When registering online with Pearson VUE for the NCLEX examination, please be sure that your email address is correct. This is the primary form of communication used for the scheduling of your examination. Your email is also the primary form of communication used to communicate with the Department of Health. Please also be sure that your school code and degree are identified correctly in all the appropriate fields. One of the most important items to note are that your personal identification must match exactly with the name you use to register with Pearson VUE and the name you submit with your application. Middle initials are okay, but if your name does not match, you may be turned away from the testing center and unable to sit for your examination until your name discrepancy is resolved. This slide is to provide an overview of what happens with your application upon receipt in our office. The first thing we do is complete intake of your application. This happens one day after you submit your application online. We then complete a background check of all applications received. After that, if you are required to complete the fingerprint process, we will send you an email explaining how to do so. We only fingerprint individuals with an out-of-state address listed on the application. We will also send you an initial email requesting you to register with Pearson VUE if you have not already done so, and to submit official transcripts from your school upon degree conferral. Here you will see an example of the template email sent to all individuals upon receipt of an application. This email is just explaining the process and what needs to be completed by every applicant. That includes registering with Pearson VUE, ensuring that we have official transcripts after you've graduated, and then this email provides instructions of how to get those official transcripts to us if you have any questions. After you have completed your nursing education program and have successfully applied online and registered with Pearson VUE for the NCLEX, the next step in the process is to receive your authorization to test. If you attended a Washington State approved nursing education program, then your school will be sending a certificate of completion to the Nursing Commission. This certificate of completion allows the Nursing Commission staff to verify with your nursing education program that you have met all requirements to sit for the NCLEX. Nursing Commission staff will make you eligible to test in Pearson VUE, and then Pearson VUE will send you an authorization to test email within 24 to 48 hours of being made eligible. This email will come directly from Pearson VUE, not the Nursing Commission, and will provide you with a testing availability and time. You should receive at least 3 different times and dates of testing availability. If you graduated from a nursing education program outside of Washington State, the Nursing Commission will require official transcripts prior to determining your eligibility to test with Pearson VUE. After the Nursing Commission has reviewed your COC or official transcripts and made you eligible to test in Pearson VUE, there are a few additional steps that we take in our office. We update your application date to the date you are made eligible to test, and this moves the timeline out so that way you do not receive an automated application closure letter until 30 days after this date. We then send you a second email requesting the following. We request that you schedule your NCLEX test date within 30 days of the ATT, and we request that you submit official transcripts if you have not already done so. Here you will see the second template letter that is sent to every applicant who has applied by examination after the ATT has been granted in Pearson VUE. This letter is just a simple reminder of a couple of things that need to be completed, such as scheduling your examination, as well as sending us your official transcripts as soon as the degree has been conferred by your school. On this slide, you will see an example of our automated application closure warning letter. This is a template letter and lists all the possible things that could be missing from your application. Unfortunately, we could not personalize this letter for every applicant due to limitations of our current database. However, if you do receive one of these letters, it is simply stating that you have 30 additional days from the date you receive this letter to submit missing documentation from your application. If you feel like you have already submitted all application requirements, please give our office a call and we would be happy to help you. If you are missing something, please do your best to get us this documentation within 30 days of receipt of this letter. If there is some other kind of constraint, please give us a call so that way we can work with you. NCLEX testing accommodations must be ADA approved, and the following documentation must be submitted along with the application: a letter from the applicant explaining what the accommodation is and why it is being requested, a letter from your school stating what accommodations were provided while in school and why, and a letter from the diagnosing physician, what the diagnosis is, and what is recommended for testing accommodations. The Nursing Commission then submits all documentation to NCSBN through Pearson VUE for approval of accommodations. Pearson VUE will then communicate the approval of any accommodations granted when scheduling your examination. The testing date availability for the NCLEX varies depending on the time of the year. First-time test takers are guaranteed testing dates within 30 days. During state emergencies, it may take longer than 30 days to secure an NCLEX testing date, and there's a slide later in this presentation explaining emergency interim permits, which new graduates may work under as a nurse while waiting to take the NCLEX. If you were to fail the NCLEX, repeat candidates are allowed to test every 45 days. You may decline your scheduled NCLEX date and schedule further out. However, this is not recommended. There are 4 Pearson VUE sites for testing located in Washington State. These locations are in Seattle, Renton, Yakima, and Spokane. However, you may sit for the NCLEX anywhere around the globe where there is a Pearson VUE testing site available. If you prefer to test in another state and have the exam results sent to Washington State for licensure, you will just need to be sure to indicate this when registering for the NCLEX with Pearson VUE. Each applicant will be given 3 choices of varying times, dates, and locations to choose from when scheduling the exam, based upon applicant preference when registering with Pearson VUE. Please do not call the Nursing Commission's Customer Service Unit to see if you have passed the exam. We would love to give you the great news. However, we are not allowed to give out test results per our contract with Pearson VUE. For unofficial results, you can go to Pearson VUE's website and pay a small fee, but we will do our best to ensure that complete applications are made active within a few days of an individual having passed the NCLEX. The moment your application is approved with the Nursing Commission, your licensure status will change from pending to active on the provider credential search. Now for a couple of items to note that could slow down the licensure process. Licenses are issued after receiving the last document, which in most cases is the NCLEX results from Pearson VUE. However, on some occasions we are unable to complete the final review process and issue a license if other documentation is missing from the application, such as court documentation or your official transcripts with the degree posted from your School of Nursing. If we are missing any documentation from your application, you will receive an email from a Nursing Commission staff member requesting what is missing. Please have your official transcripts either sent electronically as the preferred method of delivery or mailed to the Nursing Commission in a sealed envelope directly from your school. Electronic transcripts are accepted from eScript, Parchment, and Student Clearinghouse and should be sent to nurselicensing@doh.wa.gov. The average time to issue a license after your application is complete is within 2 days to a week of having passed the NCLEX examination. To view your active license, please go to the provider credential search and search by your first and last name or your credential number. Congratulations! After you have passed your NCLEX and your license is active on the provider credential search, it is time to celebrate your amazing accomplishment. A paper license will come in the mail in 7 to 10 business days after the license is issued, but please keep in mind this is the only paper copy the Nursing Commission will send to you. The provider credential search should always be used as primary source verification in Washington State, as it is the most accurate form of licensure verification. Your license expiration and renewal date will be your birthday of every year. If your birthday is within 90 days of your initial licensure, your expiration date will be extended to your next birthday, and you will not need to renew within the first year of your license being issued. To check the expiration of your license, please visit the provider credential search. Shown on this slide are a couple of tips on how to avoid licensure delays. Tip number 1. Please ensure your application is complete and all supporting documentation is uploaded with your application. Tip number 2. Please check with your school to ensure you signed all necessary paperwork to have your certificate of completion and official transcripts sent to the Nursing Commission. Tip number 3. Please make sure to indicate your current nursing education program and graduation date under the professional education section of the application online. Once you are a Washington State nurse, there are a couple of things you'll need to remember when it comes to maintaining your nursing license. License renewals are due every year by your birthday, but please do not wait until your birthday to renew. You will have the option to renew online up to 3 months prior to your birthday. Continuing competency is also due every year, and you will be asked to attest to having completed the required continuing education and practice hours at the time of renewal. For more information on the continuing competency requirements, please visit our Nursing Commission website. Please also subscribe to the Nursing Commission's Gov Delivery for updates from the Nursing Commission regarding many topics including licensure, rule changes, education, practice, hot topics, and Commission business meetings. Please also use our website as a resource for frequently asked questions, scope of practice, and information on any new licensure requirements. After your license is active, it is a Washington state requirement for all active nurses to sign up for Nurses e-Notify. Please go to the link shown on screen to register and create an account by selecting the As a Nurse option. You will then be asked to complete a demographic survey. This data is incredibly important and helpful to the Nursing Commission in determining gaps for nursing around the state of Washington. Please periodically update your profile as anything changes. You will also have the option to receive notification emails about your license or text reminders prior to renewing through this service. To renew your nursing license in the future, you will need to access the Secure Access Washington account created when you applied for your license. Please make sure to write down your user ID and password so that you are able to renew online in the future. Once logged into Secure Access Washington, you will need to manually add the service code for DOH HSQA renewal, which is 7472. This will allow you to access the Secure Renewal portal. To connect to your nursing license, please then enter your DOH-generated user ID printed on your renewal reminder card, and your password will be your social security number without any spaces. After logging in, you will then be able to submit payment and renew your license without any delay. Thank you for watching this informational presentation on the nurse licensure by examination process for registered nurses and licensed practical nurses in the state of Washington. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact our nurse licensure unit at 360-236-4703 or nursing@doh.wa.gov. We will be happy to assist you.